very excited to present what I have today because this has a lot to do with my own personal testimony, but also the main reason why I am in naturopathy, why I got my doctorate, and why I'm just focused so much on my daily life to helping people get well and to teaching them, educating them, and showing them the way. There's so much truth out there that I think is really not been told to the public, and certainly not in mass amounts. And so I think that's one of the reasons why it's such a great passion for being part of this event, and so thankful to you guys for putting this on, because I think this information has been long overdue, and I'm very pleased to be able to present what I have to say to you today. I want very much to share with you from my heart 4 things. There are a lot of things that are stopping people from healing, and one of them is not being able to find the root cause of what is causing disease, what is causing illness, what is causing cancer. How many of you are familiar with getting to the root cause? How many doctors are telling you what the root cause is of whatever it is you're dealing with? The second thing is that I think too many people are making decisions out of fear. And I know for a fact, as I grew up with a medical mindset, that I mean, as far as I was concerned, if I was ever told I had breast cancer or I was ever told I had a cancer, that was a death sentence. And I had no other options. And so I made decisions out of fear for my health all along the way up until I became a naturopath. And I started walking through some of my own health journeys with my children, and then becoming a naturopathic doctor into practice. One of the other things is that you probably don't know what a lot of the options are out there. And I am here to explain some of those to you. And I couldn't be more thrilled to do that. And the other thing is I want you to really, really walk away with this. The main point to being able to find or get to the root cause of a disease is that you're addressing all parts of the health systems. You can't just look at the physical part of your health and expect that you're going to be able to heal completely. Because how many of you have stress every day? How many of you understand that you have emotions? And how many of you have been in a situation where one of your emotions has not necessarily served you very well? Okay? Where your emotions may have triggered something, and yet we're not being told the rest of the story that when those emotions come online, they're actually creating chemicals in the brain, okay, that the body has to deal with just like any other toxin you're breathing in. How many of you are familiar with negative thoughts? How many of you have ever been exposed to someone who said something negative to you? Or you might have your own negative thoughts when you look in the mirror. How many of you are waking up every day and everything that comes out of your mouth is positive? My goal would be to work towards that. None of us are ever going to be perfect, but I do believe that it's possible to start educating people and have so much more power and control in their health by just the very thought of reversing your negative thoughts, reversing the negative chemicals that are being created in the body, and turning them to positive. Because as soon as you do that, you're starting a healing process rather than a destructive disease process. Okay, and this is proven. There have been many, many studies and research done on this. And I would encourage you, as a matter of fact, to go to a website by medical doctor Lorraine Day. She is a medical doctor that is an orthopedic surgeon out in California. And this lovely lady has actually gone through a very similar experience as I have. She fought her breast cancer without chemotherapy, without radiation, and without surgery. And she absolutely refused these treatments as a medical doctor. So I'm sure you can imagine the criticism she took from her peers and the people that she was in the medical field with. But I was so encouraged. There were tears going down my eyes last night as I was reading what this woman has on her website. So I encourage you to go to drday.com and read her story and see the pictures that are on her website that are very real. And I did bring pictures of my experience, my breast cancer tumor that actually my body excreted, and I have those for anyone that wants to see them after this event. It's a very real thing. And I'm up here to tell you that there are other options besides chemotherapy, radiation, and surgery. And there were several things that I had to address as I went through my breast cancer journey. It took 2 months for my body to excrete the tumor and 2 more months to heal up the hole that was left behind. My tumor was rather large and it was attached to my chest wall. So it had quite a journey to go through the breast tissue to actually make it out of the body. How many of you have ever heard of anyone that has ever conquered cancer without these therapies? Okay, a few of you. Okay. There are herbs involved sometimes. Sometimes it's just flat out nutrition. and ridding the body of the toxins. But most of all, the pieces that I didn't know, that I found out real quick, were the emotional attachments to my cancer and the spiritual attachments to the cancer. And when I looked at the emotional, the physical, the mental, the chemical, and the energetic parts of who I was and what was going on with me at the time, we eliminated those things away from sabotaging my immune system, and my body healed. And I had no fear. And coming from a woman before you who's been raped multiple times in my life, who's gone through a lot of trauma, I've lived a lot of years in my 43 years. I've lived a lot of life, and it hasn't always been positive. And so as I went through that journey, I realized that I was actually consumed by fear. How many of you are fearful people? And how many of you experience that fear on a regular basis? And guess what happens when you have fear? It creates a negative chemical. So what's that doing to your body on an ongoing basis? So I just implore you to just change that around. Change your thoughts around. Okay? Counteract it with a positive. Absolutely conquer the negative. Because if you don't, the disease process will never truly be healed. And every time people come back with cancer 3-5 years later, it is because they haven't dealt with the root cause. So please, do not live your life in fear. Do not think there are not other options. Seek out the practitioners and the doctors that do these kinds of therapies and approach that in a positive way. We really need you to know that you have options out there and that you'd seek them out without fear. At least come and get the education so you can make an educated decision. And I'm so very thankful I was able to come up here and tell you this, because hopefully this will save a life or two. Thank you.